At least 4 children and more than 24 animals were removed from a home in Powell County. Now the parents are in jail. The U.S. military installed a floating pier to help get aid into Gaza. But will it be enough to help relief agencies who say they are running out of food?
Plus, a soggy Friday is on the way. Your forecast coming up as Mountain News First at 4 continues.
Mountain News First at 4 continues.
We have a developing story coming out of West Virginia. Governor Jim Justice says a coal miner was killed on the job this morning. The miner, who was identified as Virgil Painter, died at the CM Energy Operations LP surface mine while operating an excavator in Wyoming County. Justice says this is the first coal mine death in West Virginia in 2024. An Eastern Kentucky couple is in jail. Their children with social services and 24 pets in the animal shelter after a disturbing discovery. It happened in Powell County. Police say a mother and a father were living in filth with their 4 kids and animals. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more on what took place and what police believe was behind their actions.
Police arrested the pair on Wednesday. A complaint led officers to the house there just off the Mountain Parkway of the Clay City exit. Police say they simply found this family, dogs, children, and the mom and dad simply living in deplorable conditions.
It's hard to even explain how filthy this home is, in addition to the lack of running water. There's not really a good place for these juveniles to sleep.
Police and animal control were called to the home on 11th Street in Clay City after Powell County Middle School staff members raised some concerns. Deputy Martin says he was immediately met with a horrible odor and dogs were running around covered in feces. Police say Matthew Bowen and Lynetta Daniels, the parents of the 14, 12, 8, and 5-year-olds, were under the influence. Both were charged with cruelty to animals and criminal abuse.
It's pitiful. There's no reason whatsoever that anybody should live in a condition like that.
Both Bowen and Daniels remain in the Powell County Jail. They declined an opportunity to talk to us from inside the jail. The animals are now in the care of the animal shelter. It is hopeful that the pair will release the animals so they can be adopted out once they are nursed back to health. The children are in the care of social services. In Powell County, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
Phil, thank you. Police say both suspects admitted to using meth and say the children will likely be turned over to other relatives.
Well, the weather not too bad on this Thursday. For most of us, we're getting a little bit of a break from the wet weather and enjoy it because rain chances return to close out the work week. Let's take a live look across the mountains on this Thursday. A few peaks of sunshine from the London Corbin airports, also from I-64 over at Moorhead and from Buffalo Mountain as well. Up on First Alert Pinpoint Doppler, not much happening, but for some of us, we are getting a few sprinkles and a few light showers on this Thursday afternoon, mainly in the Big Sandy Valley from Floyd County pushing into Pike County, also for parts of Buchanan into Dickinson County, and for Mingo and Logan counties over in West Virginia at this hour. We are warmer on this Thursday, most of us in the middle to even upper 70s, up to 78 for Irvin, for Estill County, up to 78 also in Jackson, 77 for Manchester and Somerset, up to 80 over in Wayne County for Monticello at this hour. Some more mainly dry and mild weather is on tap for this evening. Only a small chance of a few sprinkles or a light shower, but for most, not much happening. We see temperatures in the upper 60s to lower 70s. Some more patchy fog to wake up on Friday. Also a first alert to pack the rain gear on Friday as more widespread showers are on the way. More details on those rain chances coming up in just a little bit. Olivia?
Cameron, thank you. Developments overseas in the Israel-Hamas war. The U.S. military has finished installing a floating pier for the Gaza Strip that will help bring new aid into the territory and prevent starvation among Palestinians. Israel controls the flow of supplies through border crossings, and relief agencies say they've been running out of food. Meanwhile, there is new fighting in northern Gaza. 5 Israeli soldiers were killed in a possible friendly fire incident. MTR's Tayab has the latest from Tel Aviv.
The massive U.S. military-constructed dock is expected to be operational in a matter of days. Anchored just a few miles off the Gaza coastline, its arrival has been difficult thanks to major logistical, security, and even weather challenges.
Clearly, land routes will be optimal, but as you know, we continue to see challenges in terms of getting aid in via ground. We're going to continue to employ this method to work with the international community to get aid into the people of Gaza.
The pier would initially handle 90 trucks a day, but that number could rise to up to 150. The UN says at least 500 trucks daily are needed to meet the desperate need in Gaza. As Israel continues to widen what it's calling a limited operation in the southern city of Rafah, where over the past week, nearly 600,000 people, around a quarter of Gaza's entire population, have had to flee again. Many to here, Al-Mawasi, a squalid beachfront camp with little aid and no sanitation. But elsewhere across the devastated territory, the violence is only spreading. In the northern Jabalia refugee camp, an Israeli airstrike killed several Palestinians and wounded many more. It's in Jabalia where the Israeli military said 5 of its soldiers were also killed this week in one of the deadliest incidents of its kind since violence erupted in October. According to Israeli media reports, the troops were killed when they were mistakenly hit by Israeli tank fire after they went back into the area after having previously pulled out, saying Hamas fighters had regrouped there.
And major divisions in Israel's war cabinet have now spilled out into the open. The defense minister, Yoav Gallant, has accused the government of not having a clear plan for Gaza the day after the war ends, with a defiant Prime Minister Netanyahu refusing to rule out whether Israel will reoccupy the devastated Palestinian territory. Imtiaz Taib, CBS News, Tel Aviv.
Tensions overseas continue to spill over onto U.S. soil. Police removed a pro-Palestinian encampment at DePaul University in Chicago this morning. Police wearing helmets and face shields established a perimeter around the entrance to the encampment site as construction vehicles entered. Protests continued outside the quad, and Chicago police said at least 2 students were arrested outside the encampment for obstruction of traffic. Russia says a U.S. soldier being held there has admitted his guilt. Russian authorities arrested Staff Sergeant Gordon Black earlier this month on theft charges. Thursday, Russian state news reported that Black is cooperating with investigators. Black remains in pre-trial detention as Russian authorities are assessing whether he has been provided everything he needs, including access to a lawyer. A woman said to be the wife of the suspect in the shooting of Slovakian Prime Minister Robert Fico was detained yesterday, according to local media. Fico remains in a serious condition, and it is too soon to say whether he will recover. A deputy prime minister said on Thursday, a day after the assassination attempt that has sent shockwaves across Europe. The shooting was the first major assassination attempt on a European political leader for more than 20 years. And coming up, as First at 4 continues, California's wine grapes are not selling like they used to. We take a look at a sobering trend for the wine industry.
And we are mainly dry on Thursday, but rain chances are back by tomorrow. Stay with us, your forecast after this break.